on.
Adam
And there they are.
Adam always says something in the beginning that I don't hear. All right, guys. Welcome to the Attic Static Podcast. We're here to take your questions, answer anything you want, or talk about interesting stuff. I'm Ray.
I'm Adam.
I am Gary.
I'm Johnny.
And I'm Ed.
So if anybody out there is watching us live, it's Sunday night. And if you wanted to call in, the number's 386-956-0754. Or find us on YouTube, Attic Static Podcast, or the website, atticstaticpod.com.
Now, before we get into our long list of callers, producer Stevie, if we get up to like 100 in the queue, we'll break over to that. But I thought first we could start off with one of our typical topics, but then I thought it'd be better to come up with the most controversial topic we could possibly think of.
Are we all going to take turns offering, or you already have one?
I don't know. But right before we went live, abortion was the last one on the table. Gary, what do you think?
It's on the table. So we're doing this. We're talking about this.
No, he's saying, is that a topic you want to talk about?
I'm okay with it. I'll talk about anything.
Sure. And we might have different perspectives here. We all okay?
Of course.
I would not abort any topic that you chose.
Love it. First
right.
dad
That's
joke.
a good one.
All right. Go for it,
Where's
Adam.
our red shot?
Kick it off.
Ah, there we go.
You got to start it.
Okay, so I don't want to steal Gary's thunder, though, but maybe just the first poll. I don't know that it's as polarizing of a topic as people necessarily think it is, but if we went on a scale from 0 to 100, 0 being extreme pro-life as you possibly get, and 100 being extreme pro-choice as you get, where are we all on the scale? I'm in the, I don't know, mid-80s to mid-90s. Ray?
Yeah, I would say the same.
I would agree with that.
Uh-oh. We need some difference of opinion here.
Well, mine is completely on the opposite, meaning that I believe that there's so many other options not to do that I would say that I'm against it.
But where's your number between 0 and 100?
0.
0.
0.
So I once heard a speaker talk about how it's very important to try and show people through your actions and your words what you're actually for, not so much what you're against. And I think in that kind of controversial topic, as well as many other controversial topics, what it's important about is to show people that you care about those involved, care about those who are involved in a situation, and those not just immediately, but the collateral folks, friends, family. And I think that's the most important thing, rather than sharing, oh, where do I stand? I'm not really in that situation, but in that situation, it would be my role to try and show love, caring, compassion to the people in that situation.
I don't think we're going to let you out of that, though.
Dodged it.
You got it. So
Yeah.
I dodged it a little bit with a range, right? Because, obviously can't pick an exact number unless maybe it's a 0 or 100. Otherwise, it's probably some kind of range.
I was looking for a number from
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I don't think I would put a number on it. It's like saying, oh, how much do you love your child? How jealous of you of that thing that happened.
44.
42. It's 42.
But you're trying to put a quantitative value on something that's qualitative. Jealousy, happiness, anger, love.
You could say how
try it.
angry you are on a scale of 1 to 10.
You could quantify it, right? But is that really, an emotion or an experience that's truly quantifiable?
Fair
Not
enough.
necessarily.
So can you
Okay.
qualitatively answer where you are on the spectrum, right? I mean, I think I'm going to guess because I know you're south of 50, but I don't know
Yeah.
exactly where. What would you say within a range?
I believe in the importance and the value of life. But more importantly, in that situation that you explained, is the people who are involved directly in that situation, got to show those people love.
So it's
Gotta
a
show
little bit
compassion.
ambiguous, but at the top end.
Yeah, you got
would say?
to
Bottom end.
you got to show people love and compassion. That's
I'm
the
sorry,
primary
bottom.
thing. Not saying, "Oh, I'm for," "Oh, I'm against," "Oh, this is my number." That stuff is all meaningless. What is meaningful is showing people compassion and care who are in that situation. How I feel is irrelevant because it's not about me. It's about them.
Well, that's
Ed,
why
I
I
think
think
you
it's
just-
hard for us as men to really discuss this because
Right.
it's not about us.
Right, it's not.
Which is why I don't feel I have the right to tell a woman what she should be doing.
Well, I think, Ed, you just kind of elevated this conversation far higher than we ever thought it was going to go. And we'd have to maybe dial back a little bit to even talk about, I think, where people are, right? You also got to meet people where they are. on this. And Gary, you had a great point right before we went live. I'm going to try and coax it out of you again because I thought it was very relevant.
I believe that most pro-life people make the decision based off of religion.
Not that that's good or bad. You're just making the
yes.
statement.
Yes, not good or bad. Just I think that's the main reason why.
Yeah, and I think that's irrelevant. I think it's more of a humanitarian topic. And I believe that the more you study it, there's options. So when something happens, let's just put it very simply. A woman is pregnant and she has it, she could give it to the hospital and that baby goes on and this person's life goes on. And yet when we look at these topics and you even look at the overzealous people that have their signs and they're in front of the abortion clinic and they have no options for anyone, which I never understood that.
Who doesn't have options?
The people with the little signs, they have little signs, they have this aborted
telling you not
baby.
to have an abortion.
Right, but
Right.
no options.
Right.
Where there's many options for people, right? So I said it on purpose that mine is 0, right? But obviously we're all humans, right? And to almost his point, when you make it a personal thing where you're talking to the person specifically on the subject, I believe you could conclude, hey, if this was incest, rape, all these different things, and you make it specific to the person on what their ability is. I have personally met people who have had both options, and after counseling, they were able to make a much more educated decision than just, I don't know what to do. That's what I'm going to do. So the system has to
Are
sort
you
of...
saying that if a woman gets pregnant through incest or rape, that she should still have the baby?
No. There should be counseling, and it should be a much
That's
more
fair.
educated and founded decision, because sometimes this little 12-year-old girl, 10-year-old, doesn't even know that she even has options.
But having a value of 0 means that you think they all should not have an abortion.
And I said that. I said, I did it on purpose because if you don't say a number, you end up with this like very convoluted, very gray,
so you're saying that, but
shadowy
you
thing.
don't 100% mean 0. There's
I don't mean it, but what I'm saying is if you don't say 0, then you're not convicted to take the time and spend the time with that girl or spend the time with that teenager or spend the time with that woman who's confused and give her all of her options.
but what you're saying then is that they have a choice.
They have a choice, but sometimes the choice being left by themselves is almost equivalent to like a confused kid wanting to cut their
I hear you.
stuff off.
So you're saying, yeah, they have a choice, but they've got to have the full education of options that are out there,
Yeah.
right? Before they are almost qualified to make that choice, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like sometimes if you say to someone, no, I don't believe in that, or yes, I do, blah, 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 they automatically assume you just want them to head down this one path. But when there's 1,000 paths, so who takes the time to counsel these people? Who takes the time to really put forth an effort to make sure this is your best
I
option?
agree. I think that's important, but I do want to get back to Gary's point about a lot of most folks on the pro-life side of the spectrum. It does come from some religious training, upbringing, background, and I don't think that's irrelevant
No.
at all. I do think it's relevant.
But if you harp too much on that, you forget that those are the shortcomings of the large problem. It's just so polarized because they just say religion, where people forget how many religions there are. And then how are you going to noodle through all that? You just need to
Understood.
keep it like humanitarian.
And that's exactly why it should be something that's not necessarily regulated the way parts of the country want it to be regulated, right? Because we're supposed to have separation of church and state.
I agree with that. But I don't agree with just saying it's completely up to you, because then society has this ability to just oversimplify something that it's related to the fundamental
Well, wait,
life.
it
It's
is completely
life.
up to them. Like how you drive your car, it's completely up to you. But you can't drive it legally unless you went through driver's ed course, right? Pass a written test, pass a driving test.
But you've also got boundaries and rules and speed limits and all the other stuff you got to comply with, right? It's not completely up to you.
Right. But it's within certain constraints, right? There's certain ways that you can have a safe abortion. There's plenty of ways you can have an unsafe abortion too, right? But I think the point here is, and maybe we all agree with this, that before any kind of decision like that is made, first of all, obviously the woman has much more say than any male in her life, but having the access to the education and options I mean, I think no matter what side you're on, that seems to make sense, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean,
Awareness is a good thing.
I think like anything else, when someone calls in and they don't have a very specific question, you just sort of generalize the answer,
Yeah.
right? So sometimes it's good to get a question or a topic that is a little bit more specific on, I know someone who did it and they regret it the rest of their life. I know someone who did it and they're happy the rest of their life. And you get those two together, they talk and they sort of understand what they both went through. Not us, but if you're going to ask a man, you have to have some type of basis on how you're
shouldn't be
going to
asking
answer.
your
Well, I love what I heard from the guys on the other side of the spectrum than I am. If I heard you right, Ed is saying it's qualitative, it's about the person, and it's about showing care and love to that person.
Yeah.
That trumps any kind of decision one way or the other. And Johnny, you're saying, yeah, the woman has choice and should have choice, but it's on us to make sure that she has the education and is aware of the options, right?
And the repercussions.
I can
there's-
live with that.
There's a
Live with
lot of emotional repercussions that
Yeah.
a lot of people don't know about.
And I think this discussion actually really kind of exemplifies a problem, and that is in terms of laws regarding that topic. There needs to be more women involved in that conversation, legislation, policy making, because here we are, 5 guys
Yeah.
talking about a topic, right? And we would really need to have this conversation with women at the table.
Yeah. So,
Right.
so
And that's what needs to happen on the level of policy making, laws, right? In true discussions where we're actually going to affect large groups in society, because that needs to be a huge demographic, that's included. You need to have the women involved.
well said, and I think it's a good way to close it up. So we're going to take a break for a second, and then we're going to come right back.
Are we live?
Stevie?
Breaking from.
He apparently wasn't very happy with what we were talking about.
All right, so just to kind of wrap up from what we were saying previously, I think it's kind of to the point of the problem with society, with the lawmakers and policymakers. Here we have an example of 5 guys talking about a topic such as an abortion, where we really need to have women involved in the discussion, the policy making, and the lawmaking. And really, we just need to leave 5 guys to make burgers. That's where their best role is.
And fries.
And fries.
Are
And
we calling
fries.
that a dad joke? I say that's number 2.
Ah, where's the rim shot there, Stevie?
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
All right.
If you got to ask for the rim shot, that's not cool.
That's not cool.
Yeah. So, all right, guys, you guys all have your phones. I want to send you guys a quick video.
Everybody who's live?
Everybody who's live.
Oh, everyone who's
Should
live.
have just come.
Oh,
Okay, go ahead.
bring it.
All right, you can watch it there too.
Okay. What are we
All
looking
right.
at
Is
there?
that the
Sweaty
thing
rag?
we did together?
So Way and I went out this morning to harvest watermelons that we planted. And, Dominic gave us a bunch of watermelon seeds. So these are the small ones. They're like personal watermelons. They came out really good. There is audio to this video, but you're not able to hear it just because of the way we're broadcasting it. So So we were harvesting the watermelons. They're the yellow ones that you know that.
You got your Tesla?
The watermelon.
Is this just your way showing you finally got your Tesla?
I think that's why he did that.
I want to see the watermelon land on the windshield.
That's the reason why he did it. Congratulations.
Yeah,
So he's doing the EV, huh?
that's it. That's the EV. all the
Already
way.
letting Boy drive it too.
Yep.
Wow.
So wait, whose is it? His or
It is
Way's?
not his.
Oh, it's not his.
No, it is not his.
Which one did she get?
Let's call it Waze.
That's not what he told me.
That's which one?
That's a Y. Right way? Y? Yeah, it's a Y.
Does anybody know what the letters of the Tesla model spell? And this is on purpose by Elon Musk.
What do the letters?
So
of the
there's a
Tesla
model.
motors
There's a
spell?
Model S.
Yes.
There's a Model 3. There's a Model X. And there's a Model Y.
Sexy.
The 3 was supposed to be an E, but somebody
Which
already had these, so they
I
changed it to 3.
find none of them sexy. Not even close. To
He was.
sexy.
It's subliminal.
But that's how we named them.
And the
That's why
one
they're
is that the one with the doors that go up funny?
No,
No,
I don't
okay.
think so.
That video was a humble brag by Ray.
It's not a brag. I just thought Johnny would be
No, I figured
excited
it. I
about
like-
it.
I was like, oh, look.
No,
yeah.
look, I have.
No, all I want to
I'm
know
not
is
going
she
to tell
got-
you I have a Tesla, but look at my watermelon.
If she got the
Ray, if you're
option
gonna
with the
if you're gonna
ludicrous mode
brag,
and all that.
I'm not bragging. I wanted Johnny to see it.
If you're gonna brag, you got to do it more like Gary. Who Just it's right out there.
I thought you were
I'm number
supporting-
3 in the world.
One thing that
The whole
Ray,
world,
I like
right?
I like
whole
the color
With the
a lot.
planet.
Yeah.
That's a nice color.
You like the color?
I
So
like
the story
color.
behind the color is that Way wanted that color.
Same as the Prius.
You got to pay $1,500 extra for that color.
Okay.
Yeah, they all have one color.
So for
but
the-
they
which
change every year,
to
right?
which I vetoed.
Rip
the
off. I would
viewers
only
see it?
paid
Did
$1,400,
that show
not a
up
dollar more.
on the video?
Wait, time out. What?
Did that show up for everyone to see, or we just saw
No,
that?
no. It's the blue. Oh, it did. Oh, good.
So beautiful color.
So-
and
so
what's the
it's-
interior? White?
Black.
Oh, it's black.
Black.
Oh, I never saw blue.
You know, Ray,
I
by
saw
starting
blue
off
and
that
white.
vi-
I never seen blue and
By
black.
starting off that video with the watermelon, you kind of telling people the car's a melon. Yeah,
Lemon.
yeah, lemon.
Lemon.
It's no good.
Except I didn't have a lemon
that's,
tree.
That's not even a good dad joke.
Yeah, but that was Johnny's line anyway. Come on.
Well deserved.
So I vetoed the blue. I vetoed the $1,500 for a color thing. She ordered it, and they said, "Hey, we don't have the color that you want, but we have this other one that's blue. And if you'll take that one, we'll give you $500 off the price." So we
Nice.
actually got
What
There you
color?
go.
You know.
What's the standard color right now? Is it the gray?
gray.
White.
I
thought there's
think
more
it
white
definitely a
than-
gray, maybe also white.
Yeah, white.
But yeah, so yeah, that's it, John.
Congratulations.
So we're in the camp of
Can we show? I want to show you the
But
shirt that I was
remember
wearing the
my-
other day.
Remember
Wait,
my
you
point,
got a
though.
charger?
I like the fact that it's all.
you don't like the hybrid, you like it all.
Right, because we're just prolonging both of them.
Are
You got
gonna
the
be-
charger in your garage now off your main panel?
Well, we're still looking into that because so for one, my neighbors have one right next to our garden there, right? So I'm not in a rush to get it. I can always charge over there. Two, you can still trickle charge it. So I'm trickle charging it off of Allison's plug from her hybrid Prius,
A 110.
a 110. Yeah, so it's like 3 miles an hour or something like that. But if you're not driving long distances, you keep recharging it, it's fine, right? So we've been fine. You can buy mobile chargers, right? That you just put like a 40 amp plug on the wall and plug it in, and then you just unplug it and take it with you, right? So if I put one of those there and put one in the Poconos, for example, then I can just take it with me all the time and never have to worry about it.
It's still giving you 110 though, right?
No, you put in a 40 amp plug and you can do like 30 miles an hour charging.
So you take the one that's burnt, put it in, take the new one out, put it in your car, and go.
No, you have a cable that is your charging apparatus that you unplug and take with you instead of having it mounted
But how is it
permanently to the
charging
wall.
any differently if it's plugged into a 110?
It's plugged into a 40 amp 240,
I don't know what that means.
So it's not 110, it's 220.
220.
But
it's
but you don't have a
220.
220.
And all you have to do is connect 2 breakers in your panel and you get 220.
Yeah.
You don't
But
need.
More importantly, right, because you started this, I think this is huge for the listeners. Like, go through the whole process. You went online, you did it completely. Did you go to the dealer? Like,
Talking
what
to
was
Mike.
the whole thing?
So Wade did most of it, right? You guys have been talking about this for like 2 years now, right? So she was doing all the homework and all the research. And just the way things are today, with the rebates and all the incentives, right?
I thought Teslas were done. They used them all up. 'cause
No.
they were the first
No,
ones
there
out.
should be
No.
$7,500 rebate.
$7,500 rebate, federal. No sales tax in New Jersey, so that's another 7% or whatever that is. You get a 10% discount on all your Garden State Parkway and Turnpike tolls and all that kind of stuff. And there's a $250 rebate on whatever charger thing you buy, as long as it's on a particular list. So that's another complication of making sure you go through it. And and a $1,500 New Jersey state rebate
So
as
now,
well. Plus, we got the minus 500.
Explain
on,
that to
on the
some
color.
people. This is not literal cash.
So
Of the
it's,
whole process, how much cash did you get?
so I think the $7,500 is a tax credit.
Credit.
Right. So you've
right?
got to
So
have.
I like people to distinguish credit.
Yep. So
with
you've
real
got to have a
money.
tax bill at the end of the year from the IRS to be able to get that credit, right? So if you didn't know any taxes, you're not getting the credit.
But the credit is dollar for dollar. It's not like you're
the
getting
credit is
30%
dollar
of
for
that,
dollar.
right?
Use
It is
at some point, or is it only for 1 year?
No, it's only for this year. Like you've
So
got
you
to
have
have.
to have enough money. Well, you're
So,
going
so this year works for us because I work this year and we have income from the rentals and stuff this year. So we have enough income to drive a credit, to drive a tax bill, which will then allow us to get the credit. If we did it next year, probably wouldn't have worked, right? So there's that.
You don't think next year with all the other stuff coming in, you're going to have $7,500 in taxes due? Of course.
Well, it depends on how you do it. We have a lot of expenses from the rentals and stuff too that take off of your
Right,
total
right.
gross income and stuff. So maybe not.
Expenses from the rental.
Oh no, they got real expensive.
This year, yeah. So
Septic.
So we ran into one functional problem with electric power vehicle. When we first got our Prius, which is a hybrid,
Right.
at low mileage, it just ran on electric power. I mean, maybe it's changed now because they're more prevalent.
You mean
electric
low
vehicles.
speed?
Low speed, yeah,
Yeah.
very low speed.
Yeah.
It only ran electric. So when you're in a parking lot, say at the ShopRite, and there's people having a conversation, neighbors talking, you're kind of backing out or driving slow, silent, because it's like a golf cart, and they don't even know you're there. They don't even know there's a car.
So you can hit
so
that
And
very
so
easily.
they are saying, "Oh, goodbye, goodbye," walking away from their friend. As they're turning around, they almost walk into
Yeah.
the car I was driving because it's silent.
Yeah, so
and
they-
they were
I
very,
think
very
they
shocked.
fix
fix that.
They put
There's a
fake-
noise. So
fake
when you
noise.
turn the
Right.
car on and you're backing up and going slow, it makes this loud humming noise that you hear.
Because I had to beep a lot of folks to let them know, yo,
Yeah.
I'm driving a car here.
Yeah, that was a problem.
I'm driving here.
The Prius does it. Allison's Prius does that, and and Tesla does that. as
That's
well.
good that they
So
addressed that.
I think they took care of that. So the $1,500 rebate I think was cash from the state. The accidental $500 discount we got for the color thing is cash. We didn't have to pay. $7,500 obviously is the credit. The
Sales tax is
sales
immediate.
tax is immediate, so that's cash off your pocket, and then all the discounts on the tolls and stuff is cash whenever you're in action running up and down the turnpike and the parkway. So it's probably about and $250 rebate on the charger install. So somewhere around $3,000, $2,500 to $3,000 of cash rebates, and then another $7,500 on the credit.
So the watermelon was good?
Watermelon's great.
And is it yellow on the inside?
Yellow on the
The
inside.
fruit is yellow.
Fruit
Wow.
is yellow. Yeah,
Does it taste like a regular watermelon? Does it taste different?
it does. It's the one we've eaten so far was not as sweet as the red one, the big ones.
So
but,
wait, where's ours? Is it in the Tesla?
He forgot.
I didn't forget.
Did
but
you drive it here?
It's here.
Is it inside? Did you leave it in the car?
Actually, I saw it.
We left it with Way's mom in the city, so we don't have the watermelon.
So listen,
So yes, it's
do
parked
your
in
research.
front of your house.
Do not get into an accident in that car.
Yeah.
Do the research.
Yeah.
Do the research.
That's what
Do
we
you
found.
want to get in an accident in any car?
Well,
Trust me, any other one except that.
well, hold it. It's new, so I assume you've got collision?
No, not because of that. You got to
Yes.
take it to a license place. The check gets sent to them. It's
Whatever.
whacked
But you got
to get the
collision,
car
so
fixed.
it's going to be probably out of commission for a while.
Yeah.
But insurance is giving you a loaner.
Not all the time. Not unless you have some really high-end insurance.
Depends if somebody hits you. If they hit you, then their insurance doesn't give you a rental car.
Yep, then go
If
to,
you're going to get in an accident, make sure they hit you.
go to fight with them. One person at my job had a nightmare story. His daughter was parked in the school parking lot, and all the girls were talking, and this other girl came, and she wanted to be part of the conversation and was not paying attention and sideswiped the whole car. Like 4 months. It was a huge ordeal just to fix the car.
To fix a Tesla.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard some horror stories, and I'm getting prompts here from Way because she knows more about it than me. You asked about the whole process, right? So she ordered it online. We actually thought about doing it on the show. Like, hey, let's bring the thing up and like, pick all the parts and
we
stuff.
need to
in
do
order,
that
right?
kind of stuff, and
Yeah.
also like your research on who you compared them to, who were the people, what other EVs you
She compared.
checked
She
beforehand?
did a lot of homework because I was like knocking it down for the past 2 years, right? Just saying we don't need it, you know, yada yada yada. The rebates and everything right now, the price. I mean, not that I want to spend the money, but it's not a bad price considering what all the other ones cost.
If you were to compare it to buying another car,
Yeah,
gas car, how much more money did you end up spending?
it's hard to say, right? There's a million cars out there. So how much? What's an average
If
car?
you were to get if you were to buy another car, let's say you buy another.
No,
What do you have?
let's be more
Or-
specific.
specific, yeah.
Because I know him. So if you were to buy a top of the line Toyota Camry,
How much?
what's the difference?
Well, how much does that cost?
35,000.
I would say 38.
38?
38, 40.
More than that.
Let's say 42.
Well, we're not going to buy the most expensive. You're going to buy something that's
So
reasonable.
Stevie's saying close to 50
All
grand.
right,
But
so,
you're not
so
gonna buy
let's not use that as
you're
a
not-
thing because I think someone is
But you will never
dumb
buy
if
the
you
most
pay
expensive.
50 grand for a Camry. Let's go that way.
So after all
Why
said
would
and
you do
done,
that?
after all said and done, this is going to be in the low 40s.
Oh,
That's a good answer.
So
All
it's
right.
about the same price as buying a reasonable car.
Yeah.
Sounds like it. And
With all-
then
with all
in
the
terms
rebates,
of gas, I assume you're driving 10,000 miles per year and assume gas is $4 a gallon. How's that going to work out? I don't know what you're paying per kilowatt, but
Well, you got to the wild card in that is that we have solar on the house. So if we're the opposite of everybody else. Everybody else is trying to charge at night when their electricity rates are cheaper and not during the day. We're going to charge during the day because
You don't
the
care.
electricity is free off the roof, right? So it's really hard to do that calc against what other people are paying, right?
well, that's your homework, bro. You
Yeah,
can't
but
bring
we'll
this to the
see.
table
That's
without,
right. No,
without
that's-
doing all
that-
the right
that would-
stuff. Come on now.
those are kilowatts that would otherwise spin back through your meter.
Yeah.
They're not spinning back through your meter.
That's
so you
right.
are consuming them. So, pick whatever, 15 cents a kilowatt hour.
Right, so we
And
just
what
gotta-
do you come out?
Yeah, I don't have them. I didn't do the math. So I can do the math.
Yeah, but you could reset that thing on your solar and check it.
Yeah, I can just see what it is, but it's going to be, a lot of it's going to be free electricity or free gas, let's call it, right? Because I don't have to pay for it, right? And then when we do charge it, like they went down to Philly the other day just to see some show, and Franklin Institute had free charging in the parking lot, so they just charged it, and it
Nice.
didn't cost anything, right? So,
Well,
look,
somebody's
we'll see how
saying
it goes.
that you guys
right?
are going to save $6,000 a year in gas, which seems
That sounds
high.
It sounds like a lot.
ridiculous.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because 6,000 in gas.
I don't
Was there
see
any-
how.
Is there any free charging? Like some deals you get like free charging for a
They
year,
used to.
I've heard.
They
That
used
was
to do
initially.
that. Yeah, that was to suck everybody in.
When he was
Yeah.
really suffering.
Yeah.
But so ironically, we went to little Nancy's baby shower. I was a DJ. That's why I was
Nice.
invited.
Nice.
You were DJ.
And
That's the only reason you were invited.
Yeah, that was the only reason why I was invited. And of the four, two of the charging stations were broken.
Nice. Where like a.
It was just the parking lot of the venue.
right.
Here's how you spend $6,000 a year in gas. Forget savings. You drive 10,000 miles per year. Gas is $4. I'm sorry, 10,000 miles per year, and you have an old car. You're only getting 20 miles to the gallon. You'd have to pay $12 a gallon to spend $6,000 in
Yeah.
a year.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
don't know
think
where
he
they got
saved
that
the
number
gas.
from.
That might be a gas and maintenance number, like all in, because you
That's
don't have
the
brakes.
thing that I think would be awesome. You don't have a transmission. You don't have anything. All we have to worry about is brakes and tires.
True, for the most part, and from what I even understand, braking, you don't even brake. Like we're all getting used to driving that car now because you don't brake. As soon as you take your foot off the gas, it's braking
It's
for you,
regenerative.
regenerating electricity into the battery. So I can't imagine you're wearing down brake pads anytime soon like a regular car. So the maintenance is supposed to be very, very minimal on this. Right?
So for the electric vehicle, is manual transmission even an option, or is it all automatic? Can
No,
you
no,
get a
it has no transmission.
There is no
Yeah,
transmission.
nothing.
No, you're direct driving. Well, that's not true. Let me not say that. That's not true.
But
it's part of the whole assembly with the battery, and it's very unique to the car.
But
Gotcha.
I mean, I would think about it like the race cars we used to play with the tracks in your living room on the floor, right? The faster you push the button, it just goes faster, right? The harder you
minute
push the
let it
button,
go,
and as soon as you let it go, it just stops, right? That's exactly how it is,
Oh, okay.
right? So there is no gear shifting, like all
Have you
that
driven
stuff.
All right, but take
golf
5
cart?
minutes, right? You
Yeah.
drove it, right?
I drove it.
Golf
So
cart.
tell us, like, all right, so I've driven a gas car and I've driven this one. What else? Like,
So the other day,
0 to
Have you used the
60.
whoopee cushion yet?
no.
Did you punch it? I mean, did you
The other
put the pedal
day,
down yet?
I started to punch it. Like I didn't punch it. I just said, "Oh, what if I go faster?" And I pushed it, and it kind of made me shocked me to make take my foot off the gas. It was so fast. So no, I haven't punched it. I can't imagine what it's like when you punch it.
Right next to you, explain full torque right from the get-go. That's what the DC motor gives you.
Instant.
It's instant
torque.
It's crazy.
But
crazy fast. Like it made me feel like the roller coaster feeling as soon as I hit the gas.
Yeah, it will destroy any internal combustion engine that we know of.
Crazy.
Not destroy. Not destroy. I was at the track with Orlando Speedway. I had the opportunity. We met the owners, and that night
Owners of what?
Orlando Speedway.
Okay.
And that night there was 2 Tesla Model S Plaid, the fastest ones, and there was a brand spanking new top of the line Audi with the full race package.
Well, so
Is that the
this
one I
something-
drove at the thing that you told me to drive? The Audi, right?
Yeah.
Is that something you can buy through, through a dealership
Yeah,
in
regular
public?
car.
Okay,
It's a
so you can
regular
put it on the
car.
road. Okay.
The guy brought it almost
Gotcha.
literally from the dealership, right? And he put it in full sport mode. It was about 0.8 of a second slower than a Tesla. So it doesn't blow the doors off.
over what?
Over the Tesla.
A
It was
quarter
slower.
mile or 0
No,
to
on the
60?
quarter mile. Quarter mile.
Quarter.
I'm sorry.
Really?
In a race. Yeah. So it's. I mean.
I'm assuming it's behind.
Oh, no, it was
Right off the
behind
gap.
it, but it wasn't being left behind, like blowing the
But
doors
was it catching
off.
it up at the end? Off
No,
the line, I would think it'd be.
How about
The problem, the
Yeah,
only
0
problem
to
with that is
60.
the only problem with that is no, they were going 100 and doing 9.8s at 170 something. I
What are
have a bad
9.8s?
memory, but I mean
You know,
these
they're
are
like 9.7,
What's a
just a little
9.8?
more.
What's a 9.8?
Some of them go to 11.
9.8 quarter mile is a very fast car.
Oh, that's how long it took.
Yeah,
10
through the
seconds.
quarter mile. So
It
I'm
takes me a
sorry,
little
I didn't.
longer.
I didn't give you the basics
I
of,
can
of
run
a
in about
speedway.
12.
Speedway is a quarter mile, right? So in the quarter mile, you're racing head to head with someone else, right? So a 9-second car off the showroom floor, but remember, you have to have the top of the line and you have to have the mode that he charges you more money for.
The-
Or
for the
ludicrous
Audi,
mode.
for the Audi.
No, not all
Ludicrous.
Teslas do that.
Oh.
So if you want it afterward, all they do is they hit a button and
Yeah.
they send it over the air and you have it. But
Yeah.
most of the people won't pay for it, right? So it is you got to know that there's modes, right? You
Yeah.
had to like go into it already, and you switch modes in the car.
I haven't even seen it yet. No.
My first car was an 81 Chrysler Cordoba. It could have taken that quarter mile,
30 seconds.
16
once
seconds.
maybe. No, I don't know if it could have made it all the way around, but it would have been close.
What was your first car, Ray?
We're not talking time. I just quarter mile
It was
period.
a 1980 Subaru GL manual stick shift that I
Mine
didn't
was
know how
a
to.
Cherokee Chief.
Cherokee.
That was your, but
79.
that was your dad's car. That was
He
your
gave it
dad's
to
car.
me. That was
Yeah.
my first car.
Okay.
How about you, Gary?
I had a lot of first cars
No, you only
First
get
one
one.
that
You only get one.
You only get one.
No, I had a
Parents'
lot.
car, your car.
How?
because they all sucked. So they lasted like.
So what's the
They're
very
still the first
sucky
car.
The
one?
first car I bought was a Camaro, and I brought it in to get brakes, and he says your frame is rusted. So that was done.
So did you?
I got some of my money back from the people, and what was my next car?
Bent
it was like
or
a
rusted?
Chev, not a.
The frame was bent, not rusted.
No, it was a
Just
uniframe, and the whole.
It was bent.
Did he
No,
bu-
no, it was
did-
rusted.
Not
It was
cracked?
rusted.
Did he buy it from you?
Who?
The mechanic.
No, I think we junked it.
I thought you got scammed.
I
on
think you
that
got
one.
scammed.
We junked it. I don't remember the next car.
But to another
But I had
point,
a lot
too,
of piece of shit
not
cars.
that you guys care. So they had to go. They would race. They would go down the quarter mile, and then they would have to go back. And I don't know what the whole process is because you have to like reheat the batteries and the whole 9 yards. So it was like a process before they could keep going. So it's not like a regular car that they could just keep going down the quarter mile. So it's not 1-to-1.
Interesting.
Definitely not getting the doors blown off. But
Ed,
it's-
your first
but
car?
for a out of the box stock car,
Yeah,
it's
crazy.
ridiculous.
Yes.
My first
But your
car.
battery's gonna go. Whoop.
My first car was a Chrysler LeBaron station wagon. I had heard of that from the old
Turbo?
family car. No,
sorry.
Chrysler LeBaron station wagon. No,
No,
turbo,
but
nothing.
the Barons came in turbo.
No.
They didn't waste that on a station wagon.
And it was funny because I drove it. I had a lot of problems. I was driving it for a while. So finally, one of the guys I was friends with in high school who knew about cars, he looked at me and he said, "When's the last time you changed the oil?" And I said, "What's that?" So he taught me how to change the oil in the car. He had the ramps in his house. He took me to Pep Boys. Bought the wrench, and I was like, "Wow, this is pretty cool." I learned how to change the oil, and I figured, "Wow, this is terrific." I changed the oil in my own car, the first one I owned, and then I actually bought my first car. It was a Honda Civic. And then
Yeah.
I
Wait,
called my friend.
the one from college?
Yeah, the one from college.
Yeah.
So that was the first one I actually bought. So I called my old friend. He was going to school at another university.
Wait, was that new?
Yeah, that was a new one.
How
And
did you afford a new one back in college? Did you work?
I worked.
He had summer jobs, man.
Yeah. So at any rate, so I called my friend, who taught me how to change the oil, and I said, "Hey, I got this Honda Civic hatchback. And he's like, oh, no, forget it, man. I'm like, why not? I'm like, you showed me. You had the ramps and everything. And he's like, no. He said, that kind of car, the engine is so tight, you'll never be able to get up there with the wrench. He said, you got to take it to one of these places. They got to put it up really high.
Oh, my goodness.
They got a special tool and a long lever. And it extends out and takes the filter out. He said, you can't do it on your own. He said, forget it. Just take it someplace. Oh! And I was all disappointed. I was like, I got the wrench. I did it a couple times. I was psyched. I just didn't know where to go in the new car. And he kind of
No,
burst
wait.
the bubble
No,
over
we
me.
got to find out the specifics. Did she get the performance package? What'd she get? Put it on the
wait,
screen.
the Honda-
Wait.
oh,
Wait. I
that-
want to know which one she got.
Oh, you got to put her on. I have no idea. This was
The blue
Did you get
one.
did you get the
Long
S,
range.
the 3,
Here we
the
go.
X, or the Y? Which one?
Y.
Oh, Y.
Y.
Long range.
So there's 4 cars,
No
right?
fun.
S and 3 are sedans, and X and Y are SUVs. And
Which
the
one's bigger?
X is the bigger one, and the Y is the smaller one, which
Why?
is the one we have.
Okay.
Because
That's like a hybrid SUV, right? It's like awkward. It's like a
when
frog.
I look at it from the outside, I'm like, that doesn't look like an SUV.
No,
to me.
not at
When you
all.
get in and sit, it feels like you're higher, like you're in an SUV.
So enough of the new cars. Let's get back to Rust. And close out an old point here.
The rusty
Remember
cars?
my steering wheel was
Oh,
stiff,
yeah.
right? It would turn, then it was stiff,
hold
then it
on,
would
hold
turn,
on.
then it was
Back,
stiff.
this was the power steering. How do you repair it?
under-
Problem,
Yes.
right?
On the
And we
Toyota
talked
Tacoma.
on a Tacoma.
Right.
So we talked about, I took out the power steering fluid, flushed it, put new power steering fluid in. Maybe it had a 5% improvement. Maybe I was just trying to convince myself that my time wasn't wasted and it got better when it really didn't. Next thing was to find the U-joint on the steering column, which is very easy. It looks like a U and there's a bolt going through it. And to lubricate that, and so I got under the car, I found it, I touched it. Half of the metal came off in rust, it seemed. A lot of rust. So I'm like, well, let me just, wire brush this, clean it up a little bit. Then I used the penetrating oil on it, sprayed the heck out of it, stained the garage floor because I didn't put anything down first. That's okay.
Those things happen.
Works like a freaking champ.
So it was just rusty.
But based on what Johnny said, it worked like a champ, but I can't be that confident that I get years and years of life on it.
So all you do is scrape the rust off.
Scrape the rust off and spray it with penetrating oil to kind of
Now,
lubricate that joint.
Put graphite lubricant so it doesn't attract dust and it'll stay that way.
Okay.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, I figured. So how long? And
Right, with a
John,
pencil,
you
just
had
use
the
a
comment
pencil.
that
Yeah.
if that is the problem, if it's the U-joint getting rusted, well, the whole column is rusted and there's a lot of miles on it and it doesn't have a lot of life left. Well, you're right. The whole column, you could see rust on it. If I go ahead with that graphite, how much longer
I
you
would
think
do
I
two
got?
things. I would take the anti-rust that you could go to Home Depot. They sell this Rust-Oleum and it looks like a clear liquid. Just clean it real nice. Put all anti-rust on it.
That's a paint or a spray?
No, it's a spray. They come in both. You could do it with
So
the
you're
brush.
saying he's got to scrape down the whole.
Not completely. Just get it so that it doesn't have any superficial stuff.
Okay,
All
so
the
not
flaky
like
stuff is out.
not necessarily bare metal.
No.
just- Yeah.
You clear it. You're gonna put it. You're gonna see that all the yellowish and orange color rust is gonna turn black. Get all that. Get a nice oil-based Rust-Oleum paint or another brand and paint it. And in the joints, put the good lubricant that is made for that, and you'd be fine.
Just
All
put the
right.
drop cloth down first.
Yeah. All right, cool. Thank you. Tacoma forever.
Do we want to ignore all the people waiting online for their questions?
Your opening thing just like they all went somewhere else.
Maybe we got to think of something controversial again. Life after death?
Well, I had a couple of topics that I thought we could talk about, or we could make a choice to talk about, right? So
Okay.
the 3 that I had on the list were
Weapons?
the evils of lawn care in America,
Lawn care?
Lawn care.
life insurance.
bring my clover?
And why do we need it? I did bring your
Life
clover.
insurance.
Or pickleball.
Wait, the second one.
Why do we need life insurance?
We've discussed life insurance.
Yeah.
We did a
Isn't
little
that
bit.
common
But,
sense?
That's not
Yeah.
exciting. Let's skip that one.
so those are 2, but I'll take any other suggestions.
Lawn care,
I
lawn
think
care,
there's
lawn
a
care.
couple
Something-
other questions on that list.
Wait,
that we
but I
haven't
can tell you
gotten to.
something interesting. Little Stevie told Lou that he was getting addicted to pickleball. Lou said,
yeah.
"Oh yeah, there's a pickleball court where I grew up,
Oh yeah.
like 50 years ago." I
Yeah.
was like, "Whoa,
Well,
yeah."
it's been around for a long time, but you never see it.
Yeah, I didn't even know it existed. He was like, "Yeah, we used to play that in school." I'm like, "Oh."
So I was
that's
wa- I was
interesting."
walking
and
across-
that's in New
1980
Egypt.
In New Egypt.
In
yeah.
New Egypt, in the middle of the sticks.
So I was walking across the street today to my neighbors, and I saw another neighbor walking out, and she had a like a boot on her foot, like, you know, she's limping. You know, I said, "Oh, what happened to your foot?" I hurt my Achilles playing pickleball.
You're not supposed to go backwards.
It's a dangerous sport.
So yeah, it's getting
It's
around.
addicting. It's
Do you have to wear a helmet,
No,
No.
helmet. Well, you don't have to. You could.
shoulder pads?
Yeah, there has been a lot of increased injuries with pickleball.
What kind of injuries? Like
Usually
ACLs?
No, people with
MCLs?
broken wrists. 'cause
Wrists from falling.
because they're trying to go backwards and they not coordinate enough. They fall, land on the wrist.
So wait, what
So
about?
that's one.
There's a lot of old people, broken hips, right?
Well, so I've heard the Achilles today, and another woman that we play with hurt her Achilles over the winter and is just recovering from it now. So I've heard that. We've also heard, well, what Stevie said was runner's knee.
From pickleball? No.
Well, this is the description that I think we heard was that, and because my knees are bothering me a little bit, but not when I'm playing and not when I'm running, only when I'm not doing anything, like sitting around, standing up, whatever. Like I get that.
So be in perpetual motion, you're good.
Yes. So if I was always running or biking, I'd be fine. So I'm going to open that door up to you two to tell us what's that all about.
Me, I'm
Well, you're the
So-
runner.
So what you described
Yeah,
about
but he's never stopped. His feet are going right
I don't
now.
have runner's knee. I guess
has
as a runner, I have runner's
Knees.
knees.
So what you described, Ray, about having some soreness, some pain when you're kind of sitting down, when you're sedentary, when you're not moving,
Yeah.
but not so bad when you move around. That's usually not necessarily the typical complaints that you would hear from runner's knee. What you would hear from that type of description is more some sort of degeneration or osteoarthritis.
Sounds good.
Generally,
Old
generally
bastard.
speaking.
That is not what you're supposed to say. I'm not digging that.
Typically, that's the pattern. When someone comes in and they have some sort of degenerative joint disease, which is the fancy name for osteoarthritis, typically what they'll say is when they're not moving, when they're sedentary, when they're sitting for a while, when they have a long meal, long car ride, when they wake up in the morning. That's
Like,
typically
what does it mean if you walk around and your hamstrings are just screaming at you?
You didn't stretch.
that means you probably participated in a high level activity the day before and placed really high.
Now, before you
That's
go,
like my version of his Tesla.
so a serious question. So I have that accelerated. Is there anything they could like inject into your joints that act
There's
like
new
a
things
little
coming out all the
cushions?
time.
Yes.
Yeah.
What do you got? What do you got, Ed? I want to hear it.
So there are a lot of different things. So
I
this
need
is,
it.
Yeah. So this is basically things that are done by other professionals. Physical therapists don't do injections of this kind. So typically they're usually one of three, or sometimes a mix of the first two. It's usually some kind of either pain relieving medication, some kind of anti-inflammatory, or some kind of synthetic lubricant. Very much like
Yeah,
the
I
idea
want
of
the
Slick
lubricant.
Well,
50.
there's new
Like Slick
things
50.
because
How about dexamethasone?
So Janice talking about
Brought
this
this
all
boy
the time.
back to life.
They have
Absolutely.
new things where
On a
they're-
Mexican
they can inject you
volcano.
with something and it'll help regenerate. I mean, it's not guaranteed, but it's people have done it and it helps.
Yeah?
Yeah, there's all kinds of things coming out, but
Ask
typically
her. Ask
typically-
her. I wouldn't know what it is.
those three that I mentioned, none of them are a long-term fix.
So-
They're
so-
all going to have limitation in terms of their, whatever benefits
So
you
there's some
see.
things like where they do shockwave therapy and they push a lot of holes inside the cartilage and it'll grow back and fill in better.
Yeah, they're trying to
There's
do-
a lot of things that
there's
they've
a lot
done,
of things
come
that are
up
new.
recently.
So,
what-
Ed, a quick question on the when you feel the pain when you're not mobile. If you say you're active 6 hours a day and then you wake up and you have this osteoarthritis crap, if you were to be active 8 hours a day or 10 hours per day, would that
Make it
improve how
better
you
or
feel
make
in
it-
the morning,
make it
or is
worse?
that just more wear and tear
Right.
and you'd hurt worse?
I could answer that.
Okay.
We didn't call on you yet.
If I do more, I suffer more. It's very simple.
What's the scientific answer?
So what I would say is very much like a previous conversation we had on another episode of the podcast. A lot of it has to do with the mechanical stresses, the repetition, and the sustained mechanical stresses. So if it's the same type of activity that you're doing, say you got to do a lot of stair climbing for work, or that's just the type of activity you do for aerobic exercise, and you keep doing the same type of aerobic exercise all the time, or the same type of work at your job, then yeah, it's going to be problematic. As opposed to 8 or 10 hours of maybe you're doing an hour of one thing, and then you're doing an hour of something else, and then you're doing an hour of something else. So now you're dispersing those mechanical stresses and strains in your body in different areas. So you'll be better off, right, dispersing it.
What if you sit in a very hard chair for an hour and your ass starts hurting?
Depends how big your ass is.
It's not very big. I think we
Maybe
need
that's
better
why.
chairs.
Yeah.
Or you just need a bigger ass.
Well, at least they got a little bit of cushion. They're not
I don't-
completely cheap.
I don't have cushion, and I'm not complaining.
Yeah, go.
Yeah, maybe,
This man
maybe no
runs
cushion's better.
Man runs 26
maybe-
miles
but-
complaining
dude,
about a chair.
you probably lost 12
So-
pounds yesterday, right?
So, Adam,
I did.
To your thing, and I tell Ray all the time, we go to one of his picnics, and I say, today I'm going to play volleyball the whole day, and I already know in my head I will suffer for 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
So,
Yep, 2 weeks.
so what I can
2 weeks nonstop, or just like when you wake up?
No, it's exactly that. When you sit down for prolonged period, I get up. It's tight. It's like you're trying to get something. But if I do
let's back up.
nothing for
Is
a
it-
long time,
but is
and
it
it
because
finally
you
goes
don't do
down,
any of this stuff? You go from doing nothing to doing this for 2 hours?
I mean, I do no. What do you do at a picnic?
You play
show
volleyball.
up and you start to play volleyball.
I know,
That's
but,
the answer.
but you
What else would
don't-
you do?
Right, but you
know what
didn't.
you do.
You're not
No,
playing
my point is
30
you don't
minutes of
exercise
volleyball
much
every
other than
day.
your work of walking around.
Yeah, so he was telling me, yeah, John, you got to work out more, and I've been checking my watch. I do between 8,000 to 15,000 steps a day.
But it's,
I don't know what that means.
It's exercise, but I mean, it's not the same as working
I'm not
out.
saying it is. I'm answering
Yeah.
your question. So
That's a lot
I'll
of
walk
steps.
my whole
That's
yard
a
at
lot.
work because we're 12 acres, right? So I walk all that. I probably go up and down the stairs 35 times.
How many in the course of 18,000 steps? That's pretty good. How many?
I do, yeah.
In the course of
between 7 to
18,000
15.
steps, how many digs and spikes were included?
None.
I think that there's something to say for that, right? Because even when we're training for a mountain, we can do all the cross training we want, but there is nothing that will get you in shape
Let me give
to
you an
carry a
example.
heavy pack up a hill
Then carrying a heavy pack
a heavy
up the
pack
Let
up
me
the
give you an
hill.
example.
Yeah.
I go to the gym regularly.
Talking to the mic.
I run regularly, and I did this thing yesterday, and I'm sore as hell because I didn't do most of the stuff that I did yesterday.
Right.
And there's a lot of truth to that, and it kind of ties in from what Ray was asking before about what can you do about degeneration or osteoarthritis. So there's a lot of things in terms of trying to get the muscle strong around the joint. It'll decrease what we call accessory movement, meaning that even though a joint maybe is supposed to move, say in this kind of manner, there's always a little sliding, a little gliding in different directions that occurs. And so a lot of times when you have a lot of strength in the area, and when those muscles are trained to create stability around that joint, that can really help decrease a lot of that accessory movement. A lot of times when people are having pain around a specific joint, certain therapeutic techniques that therapists will do, mobilizations can help decrease pain. There's a lot of good research coming out on dry needling that can help out with a lot of pain.
So in theory, if you had perfect form, muscle strength, and you had zero accessory motion, your joints would be that much better off?
Well, some accessory motion is going to be needed. You have to, right? Because even if a bone, interaction, right, a joint is going to be moving, right, in this sort of hinge fashion, there's still a little bit of gliding going on. So some of that accessory motion is normal. It's needed for normal joint mechanics. However, when it's excessive, right, now it's problematic. So you have to have some, right? And strength alone doesn't cut it because you can be very strong, but if those muscles aren't trained, like you're saying, by doing specific tasks to create stability around that joint, right, all that strength isn't going to help out. It's needed, it's a base, it's foundational, but then you also need to be able to train it for stability.
And I wanted to give context to the listeners and everyone here if you don't already know. I was born with a multiple hereditary exostosis. So I have growths on all the ends of my bones. And one of the long-term effects is that it degenerates all the ends. So I have the equivalent to like a 70-year-old person's bones at each joint. So mine's a little different. But I always ask because they don't want to give me a new hip because I'm too young. So I need to do something because it's getting worse.
But there's a
very
lot of things
quickly.
you can do to keep your hip mobile. A lot of strengthening band stuff.
How's the
You're not doing
bone
it.
density? Does it affect density too? Because you're a pretty solid dude.
No, it's the opposite. You're so dense, right?
Yeah.
So you have all these extra growths.
Like Avatar.
yeah, you
guys.
look at it
Lead in the
in
bone.
Have
a.
you ever broken a bone?
Nope, I've never broken a bone. I've never broken a bone. But
He called
what
you
I'm-
dense, and
what
you
I'm-
were okay
what
with
I'm-
that.
I don't care. So I mean, think about it. I'm 5'6", and at one point I did not look overweight, and I was 201 pounds. And right now I sit in front of you at 181. Right, so
And you're 5'6".
I'm 5'6".
Have you guys ever broken a bone?
I thought I weighed less, than
No.
you, but I'm 187, so and I'm a little taller, but that makes sense.
I'm 5'6". So.
He ain't 187.
Speaking of 187 and having lost 12
can't
pounds
possibly
yesterday,
be
can you explain what you did yesterday?
I was gonna ask the same thing. I was
Yeah.
curious about that. What were you doing?
It's called DecaFit. I'm not sure if I necessarily recommend it, but it. I got talking to doing one last year, and it sounds more impressive than it is. But if you're in the top 12 in your age group in the world,
You're ahead of the game. What is a DecaFit?
DecaFit, you do. There's different ones. The
I saw that it was
you do-
inside, right? Say the whole
inside.
thing. It's inside.
The DecaFit is inside. You run. Well, it's 10 events you do, and before each event, you run 500 meters. So you run a total of 5K plus 10 strength / cardio things.
And it's a race.
Yes.
Is it a Spartan race, Gary?
I saw the Spartan.
Similar?
It is.
Yeah, it was like a
it's
Spartan
under
logo
Spartan-
on it.
Yeah, it's under the Spartan umbrella. It's hard to call it a race unless you're at the Worlds because they just send people off in groups of 5.
So it's just qualifying.
So it's about
So
time.
It's
only
about time. And it's frustrating because I feel like it's like a time trial because you're going and I'm just flying by people. And then you get to the next one, you do your thing, you come out and I'm flying by people. I'm like, and then there's a wall of people in the way and you're like yelling, get the hell out of the way. But you got to be nice because you're tired and they're trying to go through too. But yeah, it's just a time trial. It feels like you're just out by yourself trying to go as fast as you can.
So you don't know if like the other guy in the other heat is in 2 seconds ahead of you, and to give that
Right.
extra push.
Which is when I went to the Worlds, the 12 people in your age group all go off at the same time. You know exactly what's going on. So it made it much better, and you can go better because you know, hey, there's second placers.
Wait,
for
when was that?
November,
Last year.
When are the Worlds this year?
December,
Where?
Dallas.
Are we going?
Well, as of now, I'm third in the world. In the world.
So third, that means you got beat by a loser. I'm not going to Dallas.
By a loser.
Yeah, the guy who's
Are you
second.
joking when you say that, or like what third in the world? Or
I
is this
say that
only-
because it's silly. Because last year, there
No,
was a-
man,
Yeah,
that's
because
awesome.
I'm confused.
We're
You keep
all
saying
going
it.
to
I'm like,
Dallas.
there's a what
Come
now?
on
There's
now.
World Championships, and last year there was, I think, 10 competitions all in this country. This year there's been more, but I don't know how many are in another country. But I've seen like some Spanish flags pop up, so I guess there's some in Europe. But it's not as impressive as it sounds. But I still say like, yeah, I'm third in the world. I mean,
Sounds pretty good.
I
But you
finished
did it.
third in the world last year. I mean, I'm the third best 50-year-old.
So
in
how
the
much
world.
does something like this cost? Like why
Cost?
are you
How
putting
much
yourself
what's
through
the
this?
winnings?
There is winnings if you're an elite. I'm not that good. I'm not that. I'm too old to be elite.
Oh, it's got to be in the range. So we're driving to Dallas in the
Drive? Oh,
No,
we'll
we're
take your
Model
car.
Y in
How long would
December.
that take?
Good luck with that.
That's gonna be a road
Piece of
I won't
cake.
be able
It's
to compete.
interstate.
I won't be able to compete for sitting in that car for 3 days.
That's an SUV. You can lay down on the back and stretch.
Now you're going to be pushing it in between charging stations. It'll keep you in shape.
So I wasn't sure. I didn't. Sign
You
up
are
for
the
day
charger.
before.
Yeah, you're the charger.
I wasn't sure if I want to do it, and I signed up the day before. It's like, well, if I want to go to Worlds, I can't unless I qualify. So I did that. So as of now, I think it's like December 1st of the
You got a
Worlds
lot
in
of
Dallas.
time on your
and
hands.
Maybe I'll go.
Just doing these things for
Yeah,
nothing.
let's see who's in
Nothing.
town playing the Cowboys. Go root
That's pretty-
against.
In December?
Yeah, it's-
Yeah.
every Sunday, but they may
Yeah.
not be home.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the schedule, but good team in town.
You guys want to go?
So where-
Because-
Yeah, hell yeah.
Of course.
Oh, all right.
You
So
make
what-
us
what-
shirts. Make
what-
us cool
Actually,
shirts and
you
say
saw-
like, "Go
you saw
Gary."
my
gotta-
picture.
you gotta make shirts,
You're,
yeah.
you're number one in my.
I have this special shirt. One of my friends came with the design. It's got his little dog. I don't know, one of those little 2-pound dogs. His face on it. I don't know if you guys saw the picture, and it says Beast Mode on it.
I saw the beast mode.
Yeah, and I thought it's funny because it's a little dog face. So I use that for all these competitions. And I
So
go,
what were the 10 events?
so I can remember. So the first is you have to do 30 lunges with a 55-pound thing. It's like a big foam roller, but it's weighted. And that
So
was
what
my
do you
biggest.
you put it on your shoulders and you.
Well, the thing is, I've never done some of these things before. Like when I did it the first time, I'm like, let me try it like this. Let me try it like this. And then you watch the elites and like, oh, this is how you do it.
Right.
So you did no research, no nothing. You just did it.
I watch a lot of videos, which helped, but still, I'm not very mobile. My joints don't work the same as a 20-year-old, so I couldn't do what they were doing, and I figured out other ways around it.
Do you know the 10 when you're going in? Do you know the
Yeah,
10
you
events?
know everything you're doing.
Okay.
So you do 30 55-pound lunges, which the first time I did, I'm like, I think I just pulled my hamstring. I think I'm done.
And that's going to kick your butt for the next half
Yes.
5K.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah,
But I learned
0.5K.
when I went to Worlds, I watched elites. I'm like, oh my God, they do this so much easier. I was taking very long strides back for balance, and I'd fall over, and they just go straight down. Like, oh, this is so much easier. Then it goes to 500-meter row.
Okay.
I might get some of these out of order.
We don't. Yeah, it's fine. So the
Well,
rowing machine. Just get on a
Rowing
machine and row.
Yeah.
Okay.
There is Well, on the cardio things, you have a 500-meter row, a 500-meter ski erg, which you have the things, you pull them down. And you have one of those assault bikes.
Assault bike? That's
Yeah,
what they
it's
call
the-
it?
It's from CrossFit.
Yeah, those
Okay.
things are hard, and you have to do 25 calories on that. You have to take a 60-pound ball and put it over a wall 20 times, back and forth.
20 times.
Yeah.
How high is the wall?
4 feet? I think it was 4 feet.
So you
That's the
just
one you
can't
that's what you
quite
throw out your
deadlift
back.
it. You've got to pull up,
If you're not careful.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, some people pick it up, and so I throw it over. I find it easier just to throw it over because you can throw it from lower. There's a 25-pound sit-up where you have the ball behind you hit this thing above you 25 times. Farmer's carry with 60-pound dumbbells, 100 meters.
Farmer's carries just down your, just walk like this.
Yeah. 60-pound dumbbells. This is where I say, like, the bigger you are, these things are easier. Like,
Right.
these guys are like the guy who won Worlds, who beat me last year when I came in third. He's my size, but 40 pounds more muscle. He crushed me in everything. I crushed him in the run, but he still beat me. So
You're saying it's bias or no?
Well, there's
I
some
think
bias.
it's-
If everything is weight-based, right?
Yeah.
Then
So why pick something like that?
I still did well.
So that's it.
I enjoy it. And you can say the same thing. Why do I go run races? I enjoy it.
Yeah, I remember, like if a guy was out there and he was 6'4", 6'2", and 250, and he had to carry the same weights as you have to.
Yeah, obviously it's easier.
There's no comparison.
It's a joke, but you're going to crush them in the run.
Yeah.
The only way to
But
make
it's
that
still-
fair is to have it percentage of body weight.
Right. Yeah.
But it'll be too hard.
It's too hard.
Yeah,
But
you're not
then
gonna-
how do you do that on the run?
You can't.
Right? You
You
got to
can't.
make it
Can't.
like shorter for
So there
if
was
you're
a,
heavier.
There was
Yeah.
a sled
To-
push and
to-
pull, 50 meters of sled push and pull. There was there's a box step over, which is where it's really hard when you get older because my hips don't move. You watch these guys and just hop over. I'm like, I can't do that. So I'm just stepping on and stepping off, and I can get through quick because I practice that. Burpees, 20 burpees with a 44-pound thing.
44-pound what?
Like that same thing for doing
Vest?
No, it's
Oh,
it's like
a roller, just dead
yeah,
weight.
yeah, 44 pounds.
Jesus.
That's the last one you do, and you get to that, and like I'm gonna fly through this.
So how are you
Push up in
holding
the
that?
burpee?
Because you got to do
You have to do a
push-up.
burpee down and over your head and burpee.
What is it?
Oh,
a
so
it
it's
has
got handles?
It's got little, you can stick your fingers.
So you use it as the
Yeah.
on the bottom of the burpee, and you do a push up on it, and then you stand up and
over your head.
got it.
I don't know, is that 10?
That's got to be 10 or
Yeah,
close to
it
it.
sounds pretty brutal.
Yeah.
It's hard.
I lost you at number 2. For nothing? Or you paid for this?
It's the same thing if I go to a race. You pay for it, and occasionally you win
You
something.
pay for it in more ways than one, Johnny.
Yeah.
I'm just messing
Yeah,
with it.
I got a nice. Finish.
I don't like to lose,
No, wait,
so I'd only go to races
I will
if
get
I was you.
a second place medal at some point, so I got that.
You're going to put it here?
Yeah, where is
I
it?
could.
Yeah, where is it?
I have my finishers.
Oh, I got a nice old pair of crampons. I got in the truck. I got to bring them up here. Remind me. They're like late 70s, early 80s, like something you would never wear anymore because they're steel with leather straps, really heavy.
So my legs are screaming at me since yesterday because I didn't do a lot of those things, and I'm kind of sore.
Nice.
I might be able to get up and down the stairs faster than you now.
You probably can.
So, so Bill wants me to run in a Ragnar. I think it's in September, or October.
Those are like 200 miles.
It's like 200 miles or whatever it is, but it's like a. I think there's gonna be 8 people on the team.
So you split the
So
legs
you
up. So you're
split
doing
it up.
25. So you're doing a marathon still.
it's-
You run like 3 times,
I think you do like 3. I think it's like 15 miles. I don't think you're doing a marathon.
and you
So-
sleep in the car.
No, you basically camp. They bring tents and sleep. It's up in Catskills somewhere, and you basically just the race is 24 hours straight, or until you finish. You're just going. So you're just taking turns, trying to sleep in between, and just going until it's done. Doesn't sound like fun, but we're doing it anyway.
Well, you did River to Sea, so think about that.
I did River to Sea,
Times-
double it,
Yeah.
basically. Yeah. Talking to Mike, Gary.
Yeah, okay. River to Sea is a 92-mile relay.
Was.
They don't do it anymore?
They stopped that a while ago.
That stinks. So we did it. Did we do
Yeah,
it together?
we
Yeah,
did,
that's
yeah.
right. We
It
did
was
that.
garbage. It was a garbage
and
race.
John Emery.
It was handicapped and it was crap.
Oh, I thought it was fun. So
It was-
you run from Milford,
To
New
Manasquan.
Jersey to Manasquan. It's 92 miles. There were 15 legs and
14
8
legs, 7
runners.
people.
There you go.
Run twice. Shortest was 2.5. Longest was
Like 9?
9-ish.
Yeah.
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 And it was a lot of it was logistics with your support vehicle.
Support vehicles, shuttling
and
vans.
shuttling people
So the
around.
first time I ever did this is I realized this is the first time I ever did this. If you don't get along with the people who you're doing with, it sucks. because I was doing this the first time we did was because the River Sea is done in August, so it's like 90 degrees.
Early August.
It's like the last weekend in July or the first weekend
it's a
in August.
handicap race, which is why I think the race sucked because you say this is what I could run a 5K in. Oh, okay, well then we'll start you here, and everybody lies. But the better runners, they check.
All I remember is we got to start at like 7:30 a.m. because we were terrible, and you had to start at noon or something like that.
Like
yeah,
10.
10 o'clock. Yeah,
And then you're like
brutal
waiting
hot.
hours to
Brutal
wait.
hot. Yeah.
Didn't you
And
beat
they,
us?
and they still beat us.
But it was on like the 15th leg. Or
They still
it
passed
was at
us.
the
Yeah.
very end. You could smell the
So-
salt water.
So the first time
We
I
did
did it,
good.
I'm running, I don't know, like the 4th or 5th leg, and I'm like, and they kept saying, hey, you're catching up to the next person. You're like 2 minutes behind. I'm like, yes. They're like, you're a minute behind. I'm like, yes. And then this guy pulls up next to me. The driver was supposed to tell me where to go. He says, hey, Gary, turn around. We don't know where you're going, but you're not going the right way. I'm like, what? I go, which way do I go? He goes, we're not sure yet. I'm like, what do you mean?
What happened to your Garmin?
This was before
Supposed to
Garmin.
tell you
We
where
don't
you're
know
supposed to go.
this is they're supposed to tell you where to go, and that's why I realized I'm never doing this again with somebody who is that nonchalant about you're going the wrong way. We'll figure it out.
Where are you going the wrong way?
Should have run with
Yeah,
us.
it's his job. They're supposed to tell me
How
where to
far?
go.
We
How
had
far
a
did you run the
well-oiled
wrong way?
machine.
Half mile.
We had no mistakes. Way was driving one of the support vans. We had no issues.
Zero mistakes.
Because you're going slow.
Well-oiled machine.
And they still beat you.
7-minute miles at best.
At best. And you still beat us, yeah. I think they passed us. I want to say they passed us on the double leg. Remember that double leg that you can't...
No way. That was in the middle.
There's
That
no
was
drop.
7-8.
Wild card.
Yeah, that's what we did, right?
Yeah,
1
we
mile,
did.
1 mile, 1
Yeah.
mile.
That was my idea from when we first did it many years ago.
It was a
and
great
everyone stole
idea.
it.
I thought it was like near the beach they got us.
I don't quite remember, but for some
Well,
reason
it's a
I thought
better
it was
story that way.
Yeah.
For us.
At the end, yeah. So, no, that was fun. So,
See, Gary, you stick to the things that you win.
We didn't win because it was handicapped.
Oh, you didn't win.
Because they
I don't
did
like
it
these
first to
stories.
the shore. It's like, well, these people started at 6 o'clock. We started 4 hours later. We tried our best.
I think they should stagger the starts like they did, but it still should be fastest time.
yeah, it should be
They
fastest
did not.
time.
Did they have fastest time? No, they couldn't have had fastest time because we were almost always the fastest time. Because I was always usually the slowest person on the team. Anyway.
That's pretty common, yeah.
Yeah.
So I might have to do that. And another friend wants me to do a mini triathlon in Westchester in
Don't do
October.
You got a bike?
I got a bike. It's not a tri-bike. It's just a bike. And I haven't practiced swimming yet. So
Get a wetsuit.
Don't need one.
I do have a wetsuit that I hope
Real swimming.
I hope still fits. I think it's like a half a mile swim or something like that. It's not trivial, but it's not 2 miles. It's not horrible. So we'll see.
I got an idea. Jigsaw puzzle championship.
Yeah. So Way
Anyone
wants to
know
go,
what that is?
Way wants to go to the Jigsaw Puzzle Championship. It's in California. And
How many pieces?
you got to do? It's in March. You've got to do 3 or 4 1,000-piece puzzles, and you got to do them sequentially. You got
How
to
many people?
finish one before
is it
next.
one person per team, or is it?
I think you can have
I think
4-person
she's
teams.
number 3 in the world right now, isn't she?
number 3.
I think so, yeah.
So you can have 1, 2, and 4-man teams.
Can you have women?
Racist.
Can women not do jigsaw puzzles?
Person
Texas,
team.
not
2,
racist.
1,
could be
2,
both.
or 4 person team.
teams? Yeah.
Okay.
And then I don't know what it is that gets you there, but you can move on to the World Championships in Spain.
And they make you carry the puzzle in this like foam roller that's like 40 pounds, all the pieces. You got to do burpees at the end of it.
I'll do this.
Really
I'll do
hard.
Yeah.
jigsaw.
And you got to throw your team members over the 4-foot-high wall.
We would do well.
We would do well.
I think so.
So we're gonna. She's definitely planning on going to that one. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Anybody want to join? Gary?
Yes.
Yes. Ed.
Where in California?
I'm not
Pretty
big into
state.
jigsaw puzzles.
Neither am I.
Neither am I.
No, I just.
We're gonna do it anyway.
I'm gonna guess it's in San Diego.
That is tedious.
Yeah, that's puzzling. I don't know.
Gary.
I saw
Oh, that
San
was a
Diego.
good one.
Good guess.
Yeah.
Good
No,
guess.
I saw it.
Oh, you saw it. Okay.
San
Good.
Diego.
All right. So anybody else have any big events coming up since we're on that topic? Johnny, Ed,
Yes.
On the topic of jigsaw puzzles,
Ed.
Yeah, I got a topic here. One of our listeners had asked if we can go ahead and plug the Kickball League. It is called Rick's Kickball League. It's an adult co-ed pickup kickball league. It's going to start on Sunday.
international.
September
Is it
10th.
DC or Kansas City? Where is it?
It's actually going to start September 10th at 4 p.m. at Chestnut Branch Park in Mantua, New Jersey. They're going to be meeting on Sunday afternoons, September 10th through October 22nd. For more information, you can check them out at Instagram at kickballrick07.
All All right. Good luck, Rick. All right. First shameless plug for the podcast.
Shameless. We got
Thanks,
paid
Ed.
for that. It's 500 beans, huh?
Anybody else? Anything coming up that we should hear about, Adam?
No. I am 7 weeks post-surgery on my left foot, 14 weeks post-surgery on my right foot, and in 2 weeks going to try to climb the highest mountain in Idaho and then up the
I saw
glacier.
you no crutches today, so you're good? You're walking around pain free?
I wouldn't say pain-free, but I'm walking around no crutches, no boot. It's going to be a challenge. It's going to be painful, but it's painful anyway.
How was your doctor say about? What did your doctor say about that?
I see him Tuesday morning. He's not going to be happy.
Can you
But
ask
I
him
just
when
want
you
to
can
ask
start
about the
playing pickleball?
consequences, right? Like, are the consequences, you're just going to be in a shitload of pain, which is fine, or are the plates and screws going to start shooting out of my feet and I'll be, not be able to walk for the rest of my life, in which case that's not good. I think it's just the pain thing, but I will confirm that.
Did something happen that these things got right next to each other? Did you do that on purpose?
I did them
or-
as quickly as I could. And I did the second foot before the first one was completely healed because I wanted at least, a couple of weeks to try and train.
Oh.
So we'll see how that goes.
So when can you play pickleball?
I can try next week.
Nice. Are we playing next week before the show? And next Sunday is a tough Sunday. It's a
Next Sunday is a
weekend.
holiday.
Yeah.
And
I
actually,
wanted to talk about that.
yeah,
We're all tailgating back to the birthplace football
Oh,
game,
that's
boys.
right. That's right. That's
There's a
Sunday.
game Sunday?
Yep.
So the next few weeks, I may not be as readily available as I have been, as consistent, just because the semester is starting. So I'm going to be teaching 3 courses this semester in addition to my full-time job. And the volunteer position with the kids are starting back up again during the school year. So we'll have to see on my schedule. But hopefully...
But nice knowing you, Ed.
Yeah.
And I especially like the debate we opened up with and how we got almost polar opposites here, but sort of came to a pretty good agreement and almost consensus.
Almost as polarizing as magnets.
Almost.
Almost.
Batteries.
So just to wrap. So
Better to wrap first.
Sunday is we're gonna tailgate for the Rutgers game, right?
Are we going to the game?
That's Sunday.
Hell
Was
yeah.
that Sunday?
Yeah,
All the
that's
pork
Sunday.
roll, egg, and cheese you can eat,
And it's
my
a-
friend.
and it's
I'm not having pork roll. I'll have Taylor ham.
No,
You
we're
got to
all-
bring it. Gary!
We still got to do that breakfast episode.
Yes. Maybe
All
we'll
right.
do it there.
We'll do it live.
So
live
the
from
game,
the tailgate.
It's a 12 o'clock game, so that means the tailgate is early. So it probably 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock in the morning. We'll do that. So that's that's Sunday the 3rd, right? Saturday barbecue at our house.
Just want to
Saturday?
make sure all the listeners are getting this.
Yeah.
You gotta put your address out there.
Everybody
Right.
Saturday.
A lot of
This
people show up,
Saturday.
man. You're going to have a lot of people. You're
A week from yesterday, yeah.
Yes.
going
Okay.
to put on a
Yes.
lot of burgers and dogs.
So you got the barbecue Saturday, tailgate Sunday, and the
Watermelon?
game. We'll definitely have the watermelon, and Monday is the
And I'm
rest.
taking a Tesla out for a
And
joyride.
and Johnny's gonna joyride.
Did you
the
say
Tesla.
Risk?
And we can play Risk. We played Risk last night for the first time with Allison and Noah.
Let's
So,
Risk.
but we played Mission Risk, so it doesn't take forever.
We played a new version of Agricola.
There's a new version.
Wow, it was a tweak. They, if you read the instructions, they give you variant plays, and so it's a different variant of play.
All right, you're gonna have to show me.
So
All right, I think we're gonna wrap it up for today. That was the Addict Static podcast for.
I'm
what is-
Gary.
what is?
I'm Adam.
I'm
Johnny?
Ray.
and I'm Ed.
I guess, yep, you can follow us on Instagram, YouTube, subscribe, please. The website is addictstaticpod.com. We'll see you next time.